Let's fucking roll.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We're in the Ambassador Studio here in FOCO, USA. You're listening to the SaltyMF GOAT. I'm Brad Banyas. Today, we're really excited to have Chef Doug Isidore. So, Chef Doug and I met at a couple events, and he's just amazing chef, amazing cook, just a better person. And so we wanted to have Doug on the show today. So, Doug, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, glad to be here. Thank you for all those compliments.
Oh,
Some of y'all that may know me personally might not agree, but hey.
Well, on this show, his type of cuisine is like what I like to eat. So I've had his chicken, his fish, his egg rolls, his wings, his macaroni, and any of the other things. So anything else that you make, you are welcome to make for me anytime.
Yeah, food is my love language. So you're able to control the room when you can cook good food. The best thing I like when I have a large party is when everybody's eating and it's total silence.
Yeah.
That's when I know I got them. Like, oh, because they're trying to find something to say or something wrong. And if there's nothing to say, they're just going to continue to eat.
Well, I've been at a pretty big event where there were hundreds of people, and I didn't hear one person complain, and I would have dragged them out and beat the shit out of them if they did. Well, you said that, so we grew up. Everybody loves food, and food is where you gather, and the holidays and birthdays and celebrations. And I've been very fortunate. My wife was an amazing cook, so I always love what food does to families and friends and bring them together. And you said that's like your how you give love, how you show love.
Yes.
And that's awesome, because I see that with my wife and other people I've been around, and that food really centers everybody together for good conversation. So when I got to ask you this, because I told you I'd ask you before.
Yeah.
So what point in your life, did you say, I really love cooking. I really want to be a chef. Was it young or?
No, it was really young, because I was that greedy kid. I was raised by my grandmother, raised by a single mom as well, but my mom was out figuring it out. I was raised by my grandmother. So I was always that kid when she's cooking, I got to get me a taste before everybody else.
Yeah.
I used to get, and being West Indian, it's punishment for that. You can't touch the pot. You got to wait till everything's ready. So I was always sneaking. So I always got in trouble for it. So my grandmother one day was like, look, come in the kitchen. And I started by peeling garlic, peeling potatoes, and helping out. And by me helping out, I was able to taste the food prior to it going out.
Yeah.
So, and then I realized, because my grandmother did so much, and it'd be a large family coming over, and that was her way to show everyone how she loved them.
Yeah.
And it just felt natural. Like, it never felt like work or never felt like a chore. So I was always in there with my grandmother Sunday morning getting a feast ready. And then, of course, we go to church, come back, get it ready, start prepping from the Saturday night before. And it brought me and my grandmother so close together by feeding everybody and then seeing the reaction.
Yeah.
I just realized this is what I want to do. Like, it don't feel like work. It don't feel like a burden. And I love the reaction.
Yeah.
So that's where I started. I think I was about 7 years old.
That's awesome. And that's beautiful, man. I mean, it's just to be able to spend time with your grandparents and that structured time, and watch her, and that there was so much enjoyment for her to do it and you to get that passion. That's awesome. So you found the love early, and you were part of that, feeding everybody. So you were part of that process. When did you say, all right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of get into the food business. You own a catering company. So were you pretty young then too, or?
Well, I started working very young. I grew up in New York. I'm Haitian. So when we migrated to Florida, my mom moved to New York. So I was in Florida for most of the time.
Yeah.
Until I was about 9 years old. Then I came to New York, and I started living with my mom now.
Yeah.
My mom's a single parent. It was 5 of us.
Wow.
In one house. You know what I'm saying? I watched my mom work 20-hour days and all that stuff. So I'm like, yo, I need the help. I didn't have a regular teenage childhood.
Yeah.
Like a lot of my friends will tell you. So in New York, you can get around certain things. Yeah. I was already tall, and I looked older than I was. So I got me a fake work ID.
Huh.
I went to I started working at a Jewish restaurant named Traditions. The man that hired me, his name was Kenny Jerome. I remember the name because he's the first one that gave me an opportunity. So I was working as a busboy, moving and grooving. I'm in the restaurant industry, so I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then it's different because what I'm used to cooking, this is kosher cooking, and people think it's night and day. It's really not. Only thing is that they have a lot of restrictions.
Right.
They can't mix certain things. If you eat meat and you eat dairy, you have to have 2 separate kitchens in your house for
Yeah.
that, 2 separate plates, all that stuff. So it's just different. They make sure their food is at the highest quality as far as getting tested, checks,
Right.
parasites, all that stuff. It has to be a certain way.
Right.
But it's still cooking.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like in Israel, they like certain type of food based on how the agriculture is out there.
Right.
So I started working there as a busboy. I think one time, one of the chefs that was there, he was a Jamaican guy. You know what I mean? Garrett Wembley. One of the guys called out, asked me, can I help? Because we had extra busboys that day. I said, cool, I can help. He had me prepping.
Yeah.
And then another day, a fry side guy called out, had me prepping. He's like, how old are you? I said, I'm 11. He's like, I said, no, but really, I'm supposed to be 15.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
age. So he said, yo, he proposed a question to me. He said, what do you want to do? I said, I'm really waiting till I get old enough, graduate high school, and go to culinary school and do this, that, and this. He said, that's all well and good. You know, culinary school, if you want to go there, that's fine. You're really going there to make connections.
Right.
He said, you're already cooking. And I
Right.
said, from the people that's older than you that's working here, you're a lot further along than they were because of the training my grandmother gave.
Right.
He said, I could give you a free culinary education and pay you for it.
That's yeah.
And I was like, bet, because, you know, my mom needed the help. I was
Yeah.
working and giving my mom the money to help
Yeah.
around the house. So he gave me that opportunity. I ran with it. So at that point, I worked at that restaurant for about 10 years till I was 21.
That's
I was
great.
running it. Basically a GM without the GM pay.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you know, not knowing your worth or what the worth is for what you're doing for
Right.
something you're passionate about, a lot of people take advantage of you.
Yeah.
And that Jewish establishment did take advantage of me because
Yeah.
they didn't educate me. But that was on myself as well because I should have got
Right.
the side education. But technology was nowhere near what it was back then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Well, it also though the thing about it, like even like I got into the software business when I was young. I didn't know anything about software. I mean, I wasn't a technical guy. I wasn't any of that stuff. And I'm grateful now because I learned the business side of it, not the tech side of it. And it took me a while to like figure out all what was going on. But experience, man, nothing beats experience.
Yeah.
I mean, education's great. That college is great, but nothing beats experience and passion. And you obviously had the passion for it.
Oh,
So
nah. Like I said, when I can work, I've done it before. I've worked 36-hour day
jeez,
between 3 locations.
that's crazy, man.
You know what I mean? And it's just, and the beauty about it, like a lot of people, your relationship suffers, but I was blessed to have a wife that she'd rather me not be up under her. And when she requests the time, she'll put the time in. And
They all do, man.
you know what I'm saying? But she don't trip about some of the things regular people want to argue about. You get what I'm saying? So it makes my life so much easier that my wife understand what it takes to be a chef's wife.
Yeah.
Like you're basically a doctor. You're on call.
Yeah.
If you're, especially like right now, I started just being a chef, but now I'm a chef consultant. So operating 3 different restaurants, you're putting out fires every day. Like she's like, oh, you always on your phone, but you never answer. If I'm in a meeting, I can't answer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But she had to go through being with me, and now she understands. So if she calls, I'll call her back as soon as I have time to do it. And sometimes I may not. I'll just see you when I get home.
Yeah. The life of an entrepreneur.
Oh, I'm telling you. Everybody, I want to work for myself and that, so I can have time off. Then don't work for yourself.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a PTO for an entrepreneur.
100%. It's funny, like, because I was fortunate. I've always coached. People have heard me talk about it on the show. They're probably tired of me saying that. But, like, so people would say, oh, I don't see how you have time to coach, like, whatever. And I'd be like, well, you don't see me at 11 or 12 or 1 in the morning.
What do you coach?
I don't anymore. I coached for 22 years, all around the county here. Sharon Springs.
What sport?
I coached. My main sport is football.
Okay.
but football, basketball, lacrosse, I think that's baseball. So I had three boys and a daughter. And so, I just enjoyed being around. And the thing I liked about it was structured time, right? But the point was people are like, oh, I couldn't afford to do that. Well, as an entrepreneur, you could afford to do it. You're giving that time up, but you make it up some other time.
Correct.
And so there's not, okay, I'm getting off at 6, I'm done. And that's the same, being a consultant, the same thing. If you're managing, multiple restaurants and having to deal with operational issues, finance issues, hiring, firing. I mean, I can't imagine, what that's like in the
Especially
food
now.
in the
After
food
the
industry.
pandemic. After the pandemic, I don't know if I don't know what the pandemic did to everybody, but after the pandemic, you have the workforce is just at its worst right now, especially in the restaurant. The hospitality industry is taking a big hit
Yeah.
because we used to have a lot of people that's passionate about providing service. Now you have a lot of people they're the service, so they're doing you a favor by just being here.
Yeah, people, people businesses having to manage people and then having to manage like volumes, like large amount of people.
Correct.
I mean, there's so many different personalities, so many different, and it was hard because also like you as entrepreneur, a chef and a consultant, it's hard because like you have that passion, I like this salty stuff. I freaking love it. I mean, this is like fun shit. And this is not like, I need a job, right?
No, it's not.
But I mean, like you have, like, no one's going to have that passion for it other than like you. And my wife would always tell me, like, I'd come home bitching about something. Oh, I don't know why people aren't excited, whatever. She's like, they're not you.
Right.
And it's not their deal. And they're there to work. They're there to have a job and go home. They're not wanting to do it. And that was really hard as a business owner for me to take. And the same thing. You're 9 years old, 11 years old, working in New York City, prepping and cooking and whatever. I mean, there's not too many people nowadays that first of all, like, I'm not doing that. But second of all, that had to do it because you were helping your mom.
Right.
And so there's two things in life. You either have to do it or you want to do it.
Right.
Right. And we got a lot of people that don't want to do it, or they may have to do it, but they don't want to do it,
And the beauty about it is that I had to do it, but I wanted to do it.
Yep.
So I had the best of both worlds. That's what was crazy when you said you coach.
Yeah.
I coach as well.
Yep.
And football is my favorite sport.
Oh, yeah.
I was a quarterback for Far Rock High School.
That's awesome.
And I basically played every sport because I had to keep busy.
Yeah.
Or else I would get in trouble. And what was beautiful about it is that I told the coaches my situation. So certain times, if I don't have to play, you have to give me the schedule. I have to give it to my job, and we work around it. And my job would let me come in at 7 o'clock after games. You get what I'm saying? So it's kind of like at that age, your parents take care of everything. Like, my kids don't know that world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They just, I want here.
Yeah.
And it's there. They don't understand. So to them, you're basically sole provider, tag taker. I didn't know that growing up. I just knew my mom, as much as she worked, she'd come home and she always made it happen.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? With whatever little that we had. So I wanted to just be that person to help release some of that. Yeah. Like my brothers and them crying, they want Jordans, Nike. Listen, let's give me something clean. As long as I'm clean.
Were you a middle kid?
Yes.
Yeah. So I was a middle kid.
Yes.
So I was
definitely the middle child.
Very similar. People ask me, I'm like, I don't know, my older siblings were doing all their thing and they were older. My younger was kind of, different. And you just kind of stuck in the middle. So you just kind of learn to kind of fend for yourself and take whatever you can get, kind of a deal. It's funny because our personalities, they're probably a lot alike in that sense.
And I think that's why we gravitated to each other at these events. Because like you said, it's a big event. I'm moving around, you're moving, you're mixing, mingling. And then we click instantly and just started talking. You get what I'm saying? And there's no meeting in life that's not necessary.
Yep.
I always tell people that our interaction was necessary, whether it's positive or negative.
Yeah.
We were supposed to be here at this certain point in time.
I believe
this was supposed to happen at this certain point in time.
I believe it, man.
You get what I'm saying? I fully trust the universe and what it does.
Yeah. We were talking about that. We have Elizabeth Flock on, Mother Flocker. And we were talking about like energy.
Yes.
Like I can feel energy. Like I can feel like if you're a decent person, you're a good person, or we're going to connect. Like from the first time, and that's bad because the first time I might look at someone and go, they're an asshole, and I never like they're dead to me. Like
Yeah.
I don't talk to them, I don't whatever. But like that energy with people, and also I think, you're right. The thing there's a lot of good in the world that people just don't listen to.
Right.
Like they ain't listening for it.
And your body tells you.
Yeah, they're not listening for it.
You're not.
They're not listening for it, or they're, you and I were talking about this before. People worried about, shit doesn't matter. My father-in-law used to tell me this, and it was great advice because he's a really good guy. I call out to old Gary Bennett out there. When I was working and they were going to the beach, sometimes I wouldn't go to the vacation. I'm like, I got to work. Like I can't, I got to work. And he told me one time, he said, it'll be there tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be there in 2 days.
And
it'll be there in 3 days. And it's hard to push that out to go, he's right. The world ain't going to end if I'm out for 2 or 3 days. Not going to end.
And a gentleman I worked with, Tommy, carefree guy, he said it best to me. Because, I'm a hard worker and I preach hard work. And like you were saying, your wife was telling you, they're not you.
Yeah.
Their passion, not your passion. Their wants is not your wants.
Yep.
You want the best for them. You know what can get them there, but you can't make them do it.
Right.
So Tommy used to always tell me when I'm pushing him, he's like, look, I never seen hard work on a hospital bed. and I just shut up. I was like,
that's
you're
true.
right.
That's true.
So he's basically telling me, you can't force me to do this.
Yeah.
I'm going to do as much as I want to do and what I'm capable of doing. What you're doing, that's why you're in your position. So we have to respect that.
That's true. That's true. And some people don't. It's not really drive. Like people ask me, "Oh, you're really ambitious. You're really driven." And I remember at a young age, I had kids really early. I was only like 22, my first kid.
That's crazy.
So I mean, I was a kid pretty much. By nowadays, I was a kid, and
I was 22 as well when I had my first.
Yeah, and I remember like and everyone's like, other guys my age, like, dude, what are you like? What are you working toward? Why are you doing? I'm like, look, I gotta feed. I got a kid. Then I had 2 kids. I'm like, I gotta work, dude. Maybe you got a trust fund or something. I have no idea. But like, it's not that I'm overly driven or ambitious. I gotta feed people. I'm responsible for people.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what. When I had my daughter, my oldest, Tia Marie Isidore, I had her at 22. When I had her, outside of my mom and my siblings, it's a different connection.
Oh, yeah.
Now, my mom's, they could they could fend for themselves.
Yeah.
Now you actually have a person that needs you to do what you have to do so they can survive their early stages of life.
Well, babies can't feed themselves.
No,
if you haven't noticed, put them on the ground and see if they can get something to eat. But
not at all. They'll get into stuff, but they can't feed themselves.
Yeah, it's a different. That's always like. I mean, I had 4 kids. I at this point, I wish I had more. But it's almost like not that you don't love your parents, not that you don't love your wife or spouse or brothers or sisters, but when you have a kid, like that's your blood and that's your. Like it's something different. It's like the first time it's the first time I really like you. I don't know how spiritual everyone is, but it's like, that's like God's gift to man.
Yes.
To show you that how that feels. Like the closest thing to true love like you would ever have. That's how I equate it.
Correct.
I don't know.
No, correct. You're right. Because like the best feeling, well, 2 of them. First one for me was when they hand you that child. And that child opens his eyes and y'all make that first eye contact together. And then the second best feeling is when you walk in the house, you have a cheerleading team. Dad, they run to you. That's the best feeling.
Oh, yeah.
It don't matter what kind of day I'm having, what was going on. When I park in that garage, I open that door and walk in the living room. Daddy, whoever's there, Daddy or whoever's upstairs, they're running down. Yeah. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's
great.
An awesome feeling.
Yeah. That's great. It's funny. I don't know. I read some quote before. I think Seneca, or maybe I don't know. Maybe it's Mark Twain. I don't know who it was, but it said the 2 most important times of your life are when you're born and you figure out why you're born. Mm. And I hit me. I was like, I think it's Mark Twain, by the way.
No,
sorry, not to misquote.
But it was powerful.
When you were born and then you figure out why you were born. And I think of that a lot, and we chase a lot of shit in the world. I mean, yeah, you love what you do. It's work, it's a passion. But at the end of the day, I mean, all this shit doesn't really matter. I mean, even if no one's listening to this podcast, or if a million people are listening,
Right.
unless we impact someone or make them, be positive or have a good feeling about something, I mean, a lot of shit's just noise.
And
So
and the thing is that what a lot of leaders have to understand is that you're in a small percentile. So you have a lot of people that's waiting for you
yeah,
to what you just said, figure out why you're born.
yeah,
So that way they can get the information that was embedded in you
yeah,
to share with them. Because a lot of I ask people this one question a lot of times when I hire people. I don't do cliche interviews.
yeah.
I said, look, dude, I know your resume told me where you've been. You have experience. I want to know
Right.
if you have enough experience to fit what we got going on here. So
Yeah.
I'm hiring you, but we're having a conversation
Right.
because I'm spending 8 hours with you a day. That's a third of my life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
That's a
saying?
lot. Yeah.
That's a third of my life. And I said, my most valuable asset is not my skill, not my mind, not my body, not my strength. It's time.
Yep.
That's the one thing that you have no control over and that you do not dictate.
Yep.
You don't know when it stops. You know when it started. Your birthday is when it started. You don't know when it stopped.
Yeah.
You don't know what's gonna come with it. So you have to make good of your time. So if you're spending a third of your life with me, I need to know you're a positive individual, good person to fit inside this mold that I have.
Yeah.
So I'm very strategic on how I hire people. Experience, skill set
You can
is
teach it.
I can teach you that.
Yeah.
But to be a good person, I can't teach that.
I'm glad you brought that up because it's really insightful, and I don't think people think about it as much. And as I get older, and people die, and you see people dying, and friends and people, your mortality becomes real.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the thing I do watch now is time, like who I spend time with,
Mm-hmm.
what kind of time we're spending
Mhm.
together. Is it of value from a monetary perspective? Is it a value from like a soul or relationship? Because you're right. I mean, something can happen. We have no idea. We have no idea when the good Lord's going to say, all right, there you go. You're out. You're going over
Right,
here.
you know what
You're
I'm saying?
done.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that's key. I mean, a couple things. I mean, I think I know why you and I are
Right.
going to become really good friends because we have very similar thoughts about it. And when you've been around long enough, you start to look at things that matter.
Correct.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of things that's attached to you is what you have to give out to the world.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are you putting out there? You know what I'm saying? Does it have substance? Is it quality? You know what I'm saying?
I would have blocked for your ass, and I would have made sure no one got you as a
yeah.
quarterback.
Oh yeah. I didn't have I went to Far Rock High School, so New York is not a big football, but I love football because I was playing football in Florida, before
which
I
is
moved,
huge.
which
Yeah.
is huge. You know what I mean? I remember Coach Dixon. I remember names when they add substance to me. Coach Dixon had this saying: "You need to put some pep in your step and some eye in your pride." Hey, Pratt, when you slacking, you hear him say that, you got to get going. So he was like, he just spit these quotes, and then some stick, some didn't. It depends on where you at mindset.
Yeah.
So went to Far Rock High School. Now we have 19 players. We don't even have enough to.
Wow.
So I was quarterback and free safety. I didn't play first down or fourth down. I only played second and third down because coach took me out to get ready for whatever else was going on. My senior year, I was like the golden Buddha. I couldn't be touched. And I still get mad at Coach Saba for that. Coach Saba, that was his fault because it's football. I have to get touched.
Yeah.
Now when I'm playing against another team, they trying to kill me.
Yeah.
So certain injuries that last through the week, that's like bruises that linger. I wasn't having that during practice. So when it happens during the game, it affects me a lot harder than if I was to be getting touched. Like you can't have a boxer that don't spar.
No. Yeah.
It don't make
true.
sense.
You got to get hit.
You know what I'm saying?
You got to get hit.
Me and him used to bump heads on that, but we had 17 players.
That's
and my
crazy.
sophomore year was probably our best year because we lost in the semifinals. We lost to Boys and Girls High School in the semifinals. 17 players everywhere we went. Disrespected. We played Brooklyn Tech. They had 99 players.
Yeah.
We whooped they behind. They thought, but we had hard-nosed kids that,
Yeah.
and for me, it was great because I never got off the field.
Yeah.
The
You
best
wanted
thing
to
about
play.
playing football, you
Yeah.
want to play every single minute.
Yeah.
If you're passionate about something.
100%.
You know what I mean? You got some kids, they just want to be on a team because this is how they socialize, how they make friends.
But that's how they used to do it a long time ago. So my dad played college. He had to play both. Like it wasn't. He played center and linebacker. Like
If
he was like
the best choice.
He was like, hey, like we played both ways. I don't know how many people they had, but that whole kind of single sport, don't play multiple sports, only play this position. I think when kids are little, let them do whatever the hell they want to do.
And then everybody get a trophy. We're not gonna do that.
No.
You have. I'm very firm with my kids and letting them know where they're at. So we have one rule in the house. You get straight A's, you get whatever you want. You get A's and B's, you have a list. You get C's and D's, just continue to do your work till you reach those 2 levels.
Yeah, they need to be peeling potatoes and stuff with grandma, man. So you need to teach them.
They don't have that. They don't have that. It's like whatever they want. And I was telling them, be better than me.
Right.
Because, your kids always want to be just like you. I said, that's well and good. I appreciate that. But I want you to be better than me.
Yeah.
I'm going to teach you to be better than me because you already have the foundation that you're building yourself towards.
Yeah.
So my kids, my daughter, the youngest, Breland, she's definitely, she's been here before. She's figured it out. And she has a schedule. Like, she puts me on the schedule. Well, Daddy, I got to go to this. We got that, and we got ballet. She's into everything. But she gets straight A's.
Yeah, that's
so
amazing.
I can't renege on what I told you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? She knows as long as she's keeping that schoolwork together, whatever she wants to do, we're going to do.
Yeah. So you
know what I mean?
get the checkbook.
I have to consult with her before I make my work schedule.
Well, she's going to be successful, I can tell you that. I tell you, it's every father, you had mentioned that, and it is every father's wish that their kids are better than them. You know, and what I mean by better than that doesn't, just means that they want them to go further. I think part of that is societal, though. I mean, we don't really appreciate the abundance that we have in our society. Like everybody has a phone.
Yes.
And they have all the amenity stuff like that they need, right? TV, the kind of shit that doesn't matter, TVs and whatever. And I think everybody's just kind of gotten used to that material things have taken the replace of things that, like you said, desire or pride or just wanting to do a good job or helping out. And like those type, what I would call assets or human assets, right? Have been belittled, I think. Like it's not as important. Like I heard a kid say, "Oh, he's a tryhard," and I was like, "What does that mean?" They're like, well, he just tries hard all the time. I'm like, okay, well that's like what you're supposed to do, right?
Like,
but it's turned now like he's tryhard. He or she's a tryhard, and
for us, that used to be he's the teacher's pet.
Yeah,
that's what I used to get called.
And maybe they mean teacher's pet. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
that means you're doing too much. What do you mean I'm doing too? I'm trying to be. I'm good at this. So
yeah.
Why wouldn't I want to do too much?
Yeah, exactly.
It's just a narrative is being pushed in so many different directions. It just depends on the algorithm that's on your kid's phone. So it's like, speaking on that, my son, who's in the middle. He's turning 13 on Sunday. I'm taking him and his buddies out.
Happy birthday.
DJ,
happy birthday.
He was struggling in math, but he constantly got that expensive iPhone to his face.
Yeah.
So I said, yo, son, they call it a smartphone, right? But it can also dumb you down, depending on what you're entertaining. I said, what are you struggling with? Factors. Okay, let's look it up. I showed him to look it up. So we wake up 6 a.m. and he looks up videos on factors. Studying for an hour on the iPhone, just like you would scroll on TikTok or whatever. So it depends on how you use that equipment.
100%.
It's going to help you. So he did that, aced his test on Friday. He said, Dad, I got this. I said, you see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Because the answer's in front of you.
Yeah, and I mean, and I'm old, so forgive me, kids, if you say, I'm listening to this old guy, whatever, but the reality of it is when we were younger, like you go to the library, get the encyclopedias out, have a book. Like there is a thing called Google out there, and there's even some guy that does this math stuff, and he was like, hey, this is what you weren't taught in math. And I got hooked on it. I was like, wow, why weren't we taught this? This is a hell of a lot easier, and you can do like really more difficult calculations the way this guy's doing it. So, you know, it's called Google. Look it up. There's a thing called the internet, and you can find whatever you want. So if you're having trouble with calculus, algebra, whatever, you know, watch the wizards out there. You got it done.
And then it's crazy how it works, right? So as parents, you have to be on top of your kids, because now I think the thing that they're on, like I said, I'm old too. This reel is 30 seconds.
Yeah, it just keeps rolling.
So you shorten your attention span.
Yeah. We're like goldfish, dude. Goldfish have an 8-second attention span. I think the humans have gone below a goldfish.
I'm telling you, like
the goldfish has surpassed us.
With the reels, it's shortening their attention span. So it's kind of like my wife, and even at work, when I get frustrated, like, why are you frustrated? Because I'm tired of repeating myself, bro. You guys come in, y'all do the same thing. Yeah. Why do I got to coach and teach every day?
Yeah.
We know we coming in here to sell food. You need burgers. You need salmon. You need this. Everything's in the cooler for you. All you got to do is restock your line. Why wait till you're done?
Because I think a lot of society, and we had a discussion on this before about societal things, is we've really been told how to think in some cases. Oh, yeah. We've been told what to think, what to believe in, and many times society wants you to be, they don't want you to take accountability for it and for you to be the person that makes a decision. One of the hardest things I found in business is hiring people that will make a decision. Right. Now, if you make the wrong decision, you may get in a little bit of trouble, but I'd rather take somebody who's going to make a decision and take action than somebody who's going to wait for me to say, hey, dude, we got a 20 burgers order and there's 100 in the refrigerator. Maybe get 30 out. You know, I mean, but my point in that is we've kind of taught people to be, I don't know if meek's the word, but to not just like take control of the situation and do what you need to do. And I think it's a society.
No, that's definitely it, because we've become a society that accept less than.
Yeah.
When back then, when I worked in the kitchen, it was friendly competition. It was fierce. Yeah. Like, I'm gunning for your job, and I'm telling you I am.
Yeah.
And we still leave work and have a beer after.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now everybody's so pacified, diaper wearing, everything's so, it's like,
hey, I got to figure out
how to talk to you.
We got a safe space in the back.
Or what's going on. And it's like, I'm over it because it's making us weak.
Yeah.
And I say it all the time. You get what I'm saying? Because like, bro, life is hard. Get over it.
Yeah.
I'd rather you make an aggressive mistake than not even take a chance to make one.
Yeah.
You're just waiting for somebody else to, so that way, because what it is that you don't want to be blamed for making a mistake.
Making a mistake. Or you think you're going to get fired, which is part of the employer side's fault too, because, you know, look, I mean, shit happens in the real world, and, you know, people have issues. They can't be somewhere, something happens, there's traffic. So, I mean, you got to have some common sense on really when, like, to discipline someone or make an issue about something that needs to be disciplined, not discipline everybody if something doesn't go in a perfect straight line, which if you own a business or work in any business or, you know, go up and go to the store, shit ain't going to be perfect.
Yeah,
and that we've got this we have this ideal that everything's perfect,
right,
and we want that to be Disney perfect bullshit. But the reality of it is it's not. Right. And like, so I think people are kind of stuck in this, what perfect looks like versus, okay, strive for perfection. You ain't going there, you know, work just to do a really good job. And people struggle with that because they don't know.
Basic old saying, shoot for the stars, land on the moon.
Yeah.
So me, I operate within the 85 to 90 percentile.
Yeah.
Like if you're consistently coming in and you're accurate with what you're doing, you're not going to hit 100%.
Yeah.
Like, and it's impossible for me to demand that from you.
Yeah.
But I want you to be at least in the 85 to 90 percentile.
Yeah. And if you follow probably your process and what you've done, you know, over the years, I mean, you know, it's not like you just stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night. You know what the hell you're doing, right?
Right.
I mean, the key I think people need to do also when you're coming to a job is listen to people that have been there and done that. If someone doesn't, like if someone's giving me on advice something that they don't know shit about or that they've not done, like I'm going to go pour a foundation or pour concrete and I've never done it before,
right,
and I'm not going to listen to them. But if the old old crusty guy there with the beard and the concrete in his fingertips comes and tells you to do something, he probably knows what the hell he's talking about.
Probably.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Probably. Like, just trust the fact that he's been through what you're about to go through.
Yeah.
Now, you can find ways along your travels to make it better for you.
Yep.
But at least you have the concrete foundation that was laid out for people prior.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? You got to respect those that laid the foundation before you.
Yeah, and I think good mentors are hard to find sometimes.
Yes, and I've been blessed to have quite a few. Like I said before, Garrett Wembley was one of the first chefs that put me on. Kenny Jerome hired me, and I learned my ups and downs by working with him and watching him. In Atlanta, great guy, Mike Fuller. I don't know if you guys ever been to Max Chop House.
Oh, yeah.
Which is in Marietta Square. That's Michael Fuller. He's my mentor chef. I started working with him when I was working at Ray's. Actually, Ray's at Killer Creek.
Okay, yeah.
And I worked my way up to where I was working for all 3 locations.
Yeah.
I know Mr. Ray personally. He comes in there. And it's just, if you do your job, like, you're not gonna hire me. I'm working, I'm complaining. If I'm complaining, it's time for me to go.
Yeah.
If you do your job the way that they're asking you to do it, and then when people say go above and beyond, everybody think, oh, I'm working crazy. No, going above and beyond means being great at your job, getting better than where you started. There's no reason I'm working for this company 4 years, and within 4 years, I'm still the saute cook.
Well, I tell you why I know you're a good guy and you're successful is. So I love Chef Doug's food, by the way, anyways, but he was coming out and he's like, how many people are going to be in the podcast, around your staff there? There's going to be 5 or 6 of us. And I mean, he literally brought us lunch and brought us something. And I know that taking that time to prepare, taking that time to do that before he came, that's how appreciation and bonds and good job. That's, I know if I ever use you for whatever, you're going to do a good job.
Yes.
Like you're not going to half-ass it.
You didn't have to invite me to come sit down on this podcast, right? And like you said, I didn't have to bring food, but I know we're doing this. This is going to consume hours, and then after you're done, then that's when we're going to say, oh, what we're going to eat. I'll take care of that because you're inviting a chef on the podcast. So I wanted to feed your staff. That's why I asked how many people was here, because I could have easily brought just something for you. Yeah. Which is cool as well. But
well, no, it's out there in the general population right now. It's probably gone. Don't eat our stuff. We'll find you.
So more on some of the mentors I had, because I've held some positions out here in Atlanta, and I've helped open quite a few restaurants about 7 restaurants as well. So Jaleel Lambert, which was the first chef I worked with when I got to Atlanta. He was the executive chef at Justin's when Justin's was open. He was working for Puff at the time. And like I said, Michael Fuller when I started growing. Right now, I'm the executive chef at the Beverly, which is a gentleman by the name of Mario Johnson who owns that. He also owns Lock and Key, which is in Midtown in the new Interlock Exchange. I'll be working with him closely on consulting that department as well. It's just meeting great people. I've cooked for a lot of celebrities, like names I can't even mention, but the connection between me and you and I is also a gentleman that I have as a mentor as well, Cameron.
Oh yeah, Cameron's a good guy. Cameron, you're a good man.
You know what I'm saying, Cam. Party bus is coming soon. Cam he's just like a liaison between countries, I would call it.
Yeah, he really is.
That man has so much connections and reach. And it's just because when you're a good person, a genuinely good person, you connect with other great people. Now, if you're a douchebag, a scumbag, you're going to connect with other scumbags and douchebags. So we'll be doing illegal stuff at this point. But right now, I love the space that I'm at and the people that I'm talking to, the people I'm being introduced to. I met this great gentleman and his son at the event.
That's right. That's the first time Kaysen came. Yeah. And
And
Kaysen even said, I told him, I said, hey, Chef Doug's going to be on. He's like,
he probably wanted 50 egg rolls.
Oh, he goes, man, bring egg rolls home. They're pretty damn good, egg rolls. I'll be honest with you. But
yeah, so it's like as individuals, the ones that fall short are the one that don't concentrate on relationships.
Yeah.
Because society gonna tell you money, this, that, this is what's acceptable. But for you, it's being a good person and keeping good relationships with others, because that's the main connection. That was God's plan. His plan is people. Like,
Absolutely.
love people, genuinely love people, and want the
Absolutely.
best for them, because you'll get back from the universe whatever you put out there.
Do you know?
And
I wanted to ask you real quick. Do you
yeah,
know Federico Castellucci? Do you know Sugo's? I think it's Cooks and Soldiers. The Castellucci's, anyways. I'm going to do a call out to him because I met Federico a long time ago. I mean, he lived in Boston. I lived in Boston, but they own several restaurants around Atlanta, and he's still his main. He's over at Sugo's over off Peachtree Industrial, and I don't know how old you are, sir. I won't say that, but he meets you, greets you, makes sure that you're having a good time, and make sure he's so passionate about the food, talking about the food, where it came from, where the ingredients came from. And like the passion for that is why they've been really successful. You know, like, so I didn't know if you knew him, but he's a
No, I didn't know. I've heard the Sugo's name, and what's funny is that when I was in New York, it was a gentleman by Alan Adams, who I've worked for. The name of his restaurant was Sugo's Cafe.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which is funny, and he had no connection to the gentleman you're speaking.
Yeah, I was just curious because I mean, my point in that, like in that restaurant business, they've been pretty successful in that area, and like they just like there's a reason they're successful.
Correct.
And it's about what I was trying to get to, and I went off on pontificate, is that relationship.
It's
that
the engine.
Yeah, relationship with that customer, that relationship with someone, treating them like, you know, their family and all that good stuff.
Because he don't have to do that.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Honestly, you know, he doesn't have to do that. But for the patron, it means a lot more to you.
Yeah.
When you can say, I met the owner.
Yeah.
Or I met the executive chef. So at the restaurants I consult for, I always go back. The newest one that we're working on right now is Rewind Lounge and Bistro, which is in off of exit 9 off 78, the exit after Stone Mountain.
Yeah.
So it's basically it's a chill spot. The idea that we have, it's going to be a chill spot. So you'll come there on a Wednesday night. We're doing comedy and crab legs. You'll come there on Thursday. We're doing Throwback Thursday with a band, R&B band, going crazy. Soul Food Tuesdays. You know, we're doing a lot of things for people that you work hard, you want to go somewhere and chillax. Yeah. Like if anybody ever watched New York Undercover, I always wanted to go to that restaurant that they go to at the end of the show.
Yeah.
It seems like the greatest time. Everybody's chilling, drinking, eating, and putting food on the table is how you get everybody to relax. You can have an angry room. Once you put food out, they're going to forget about it till they're done eating.
Yeah, hangry. They're hangry. You get them some food. Well, I you know, how if somebody, you're still doing your catering as well, right?
Which is DJ's 5-Star Catering on Instagram. The website, I'm working with this young lady on the website right now. The website's going to be almost done because I want it to the point to where you can just do everything on the website and not just get an invoice. Yeah. And then if it's going to be shipped or if it's going to be in person, I want the website to be completely detailed because nobody really wants to think or work hard anymore. So I want to make it easy for you.
Easy, yeah. Well, I can tell you, your staff's awesome. I mean, I've been to several events now, probably like 5 or 6, where you've been there, and your staff's awesome. And I kind of go back and try to get into the food before they put it out. So I'm a kind of a pest to them, but they're awesome. I mean, they're very friendly.
I have to big them up. You got Yvonne, which is great, and the thing is, they don't have an extended culinary background. They just have a passion for people. So I call them Miss Yvonne. You got Chef Black, you got April, you got Jay, you got who else? Tyrone, you got Jeremy. I got a whole group, and
they're awesome.
Passionate. I make it to the point to where they love when I call and I say we got an event. Yeah. To the point now they call me, like Chef Black just called me earlier today. He said, "When's the next event?"
Well, I mean, I was going to say also because I'm a big believer, and I'm a foodie, and like I said, I've had a ton of Chef Doug stuff, and so if you've got events coming up, whatever it may be, check them out. Obviously, we'll put the detail in the show notes as well, so when people do it. But well, I believe in reciprocity a lot. I mean, I think if you do good things, help people, whatever, it may not come back from whoever you help,
right?
But it will come back to you some other way. And so reciprocity to me is like one thing I see in good friendships I've had with you. It's reciprocity. It doesn't mean one for one.
Right.
I do something.
Who's keeping tabs?
It's none of that. It's not that shit. Right. But it's over time when you do that, people are like, I've had people say, "Oh, you did this, you did that, whatever." I'm like, I don't care, man. I don't need anything, whatever. But
because you didn't
later down the road, like something came back, and then I was like, "Dude, why'd you?" And like, well, I remembered, right? I just wasn't in a position to help you at that time, but I remembered what you did. Right. I think you made a good point. And I mean, I'll close with this is that I think is really important in the world right now. You talked about mentorship and leadership. And I think it's really important for men and women. There's something you have of value that someone needs. Correct. That someone can benefit from. And if you can give that back or spend some structured time to give that back, that literally could change somebody's life. And it doesn't matter what it is. It could be coaching. It could be, mentoring business. It could be whatever it is. It could be just talking to somebody down the street, telling them, have a good day. But I think if people will stop and reflect, like everyone has something they can give of value.
Yes.
Everyone. That CEO or whatever, the crackhead, whoever it is,
correct.
They have some wisdom, some experiences in life that can change someone else's life or make someone else's life better. And we don't value, I think, that as much. Like that's where people are equal.
Yes. We don't utilize that natural God-given ability to continue on. It's kind of like you want something from somebody instead of just receiving it.
Yep.
Like just walk in your natural essence. The energy is going to tell you what to do.
Oh yeah, I love sitting with really old people because they have so much wisdom and they deliver it in a very simple way.
Blunt, very blunt,
very
blunt,
to the
point,
and simple.
They understand there's not much time left.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying? Like we waste time daily.
100%,
and it's sad. We waste time daily.
Well, back to the main theme in this from Chef Doug, other than the fact that he makes some kick-ass food. Is time. Manage your time. And I really appreciate you coming on the show today. I mean, you're a 5-star chef, but you're a 10-star human being. So
thank you.
That's more important. But dude, I appreciate it. So we'll have all the stuff on Chef Doug in the notes so that you guys can find them. So if you have catering events or anything like that, I mean, I'll tell you 100%. I don't bullshit people. It's unbelievable. But I really appreciate you coming on the show today. So Go Nation out there, if you want some good food, check out Chef Doug. We'll have it in the notes. But anything in closing?
Yeah, I like to thank Brad for my charcuterie board. He made me
That's right.
a goat charcuterie board, which I use for special events at my house. And I'm going to send him a picture so he can post it when I do the next one.
That's right.
That was awesome. Great dude. I appreciate the conversations that we have, and we're going to probably continue to speak more.
100%.
I love people. I love feeding everybody. So if you're hungry, hit me up. I can go from 5-star to brown bag. That's my motto.
I love it. Go Nation. Feed the world. That's all.